Hi, welcome to the 16th episode of Horse Spirit Arts Gallery's The Artistic Spirit. Tonight we're featuring artist Brenda Kidera. She's a very talented artist. She works in oils, acrylics, and watercolors. I know you're going to enjoy meeting her tonight. You'll see her process, you'll see some of her artwork, and you'll learn about her teaching. So before we begin, this is actually a live show, and it wouldn't be possible without Rob Hicks. He is the man who thought of this idea of having the show, and he's a producer behind the scenes, and he takes all the video. So Rob, come on screen with me, please.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good. So let me give some quick shout outs to the early risers. April Rembo's here. Hi, April. And congrats on the latest sale from Robin, Rock Stars. Julie Sanger's here. Julie and I are going to be doing a cooking show next Friday. That should be interesting. Beverly Hunter is in the house. Hey, Beverly, how are you? And for those, I see a number of other people are here, but if you guys don't comment in the chat, we can't see you, so we can't say hi. So for those of you that watch the show, always you know that my spiel, this is not a live stream or a television show. This is a campfire. So it's community. We read your comments, give shout outs, and tonight we've got Brenda Kidera. Ask tons of questions. We'll relay them to Brenda. And like I said, treat this as just a cool conversation with digital lipstick or something. I don't know. I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
All right. Have a good show.
Thanks. Okay, so before we begin, I'm going to give a shout out to one of the artists in the gallery, Cecilia Battle. I am wearing not one, but two of her necklaces tonight. I love her work, and she's just a sweetheart. So let me tell you some things about Brenda Kidera that she will not tell you herself, because she's actually very humble, which is one of the things I just love about her. So here we go. She graduated summa cum laude with honors from art in Towson University. She also studied art and architecture in Florence, Italy, and she has trained directly under David Zaccarini, who is a master artist, and one day I hope to get to meet. She has won numerous awards, and she's been exhibited all over the place. She's in galleries and museums and private collections all throughout the country. She's been featured in many publications, and she's members of a whole bunch of societies, and she's a juried signature artist, which is a big deal. It means you're like a top member of the Baltimore Watercolor Society, the Washington Society of Landscape Painters, the Society of Animal Artists, and the Potomac Valley Watercolors. For 2 decades, Brenda, that means that you started when you were 12. She has been teaching painting classes and workshops, of which she continues to teach today. So the other thing I want to say is she's married to a very talented metal sculptor, Ed Kidera, who is also in the gallery. Ed is more shy, evidently, and is having difficulty coming on this show, but eventually Brenda's going to wear him down and get him to have his own show. Ed also has about 15 sculptures on the Columbia Mall, which is right next to Ellicott City. So without further ado, let's welcome Brenda Kidera.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Rob. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. You're right. I would not have said all that about myself.
That's right. That's right. Well, Brenda, why don't you first share with the viewer how you got into art and how you grew to love painting?
Okay, well, like most artists, as a kid, I loved art, and my parents were very supportive. In high school, I think that was a changing point for me. I had a wonderful high school art teacher, Steve Perrine, and he introduced me to watercolor. And that started my love affair with the medium. And I've worked in it ever since and studied hard, read lots of books, and just kept, over the years, I've just kept trying to improve my skills. And then I went to college for a fine art degree and also started a graphic design company, did illustration and portrait commissions for many years. And then I've just continued to study and along the way learned how to paint in oil. And so I do a lot of oil painting as well, but really love painting. Always so much to learn.
That's so wonderful. And since you started at 12, that means you're like 32, right?
That's right. That's right. 32.
Hey, Beverly Hunter wants to know if Beverly
Hey,
Hunter
Rob,
wants to
I
know.
think at this point we should go on a tour of Brenda's studio. And Brenda, you could explain to the artist what you're seeing.
Hold on. So
Okay.
Beverly Hunter wanted to know if you speak Italian.
A little bit. Un po'. Very little. I don't remember too much. It's been quite a number of years, but I had a wonderful experience there. This is the front of my house. There's a lot of my husband's work. So he does, you may have seen his figures at the Columbia Mall. He's in front of the Columbia Arts Center. He does a whole variety of sculpture. This is my dog Lily and our lily pond. Ed and I do a lot of gardening. We have a couple acres of perennial gardens and ponds. And so we spend a great deal of time in the summer gardening, and that is great inspiration for a lot of my work. I paint a lot of wildlife right from my garden. I've got bluebirds nesting, and I paint a lot of the flowers and the animals, and it's just great inspiration. It's very relaxing when we're not working in the garden, just to look out the window and see all this beauty every day. And I have a wonderful view from my studio window of the garden. This is, I have a lot of work, and it's on display in the house for my open house shows, and also because I don't have space to store it all. I have a lot of, you're looking now at my family paintings that I've done of my daughters and my husband, other members of my family, and some of the other works that I've done over the years. So you're seeing a lot of that at this point. And this is one I did a few years ago that was exhibited in the Mid-Atlantic Regional Watercolor Society show. This is a portrait of Ed from a number of years.
He looks so handsome.
Yes, and my daughter's there, and still life. These are all in oil. Another one of my oldest daughter. So they're all over the house. I don't know what they'll do with them someday, but that's my legacy to them. Another one of my younger daughter. And this is Sugar. This is an oil painting. I love painting cows. They're wonderful subjects to paint. I love their anatomy and the way the light catches them, and so I paint cows often. This is a major painting for me. It's called Tranquility. This is just a very small section of it. It is my lily pond in the backyard, and the neat thing about that painting is there wasn't any green paint used in the painting. This is the magnolia tree right outside and the bluebirds that nested in my backyard.
Wow, those are just beautiful, Brenda.
Thank you.
Those are really lovely. You know, I was going to ask you about where you got your inspiration for your subject matter, but you already told us.
Right.
But, you know, haven't seen any cows on your property. So where did that come from?
There's one of the last dairy farms in our county is not very far from here. And so I've painted there several times and get a lot of reference material. They're wonderful people. And I really enjoy painting farm animals and farms and the vanishing landscape that's in our area, and basically supporting the environment and the flora and fauna that are within it. I do a lot of conservation shows to support the environment, and I think that's very important to raise awareness for what's happening.
Well, they're just lovely. I am amazed by your use of light as well as your detail. I mean, you're one of the best artists I've ever seen at that.
Thank you. I that's one of the things I enjoy is detail work, obviously. I'm not a loose painter, but that's what I enjoy painting, and I like getting a good likeness.
Well, I should just tell the viewer that I have one of Brenda's paintings in my bedroom, right beside my bed, and it's a bunny, and I just love bunnies, and I look at it every night before I go to sleep. Like nice. The Velveteen Rabbit.
I appreciate that you have that.
Okay, guys. Well, I think it's time for us to look at a process video from Brenda.
Okay, great.
Here you go.
This is my studio. Ed built this for me about 1.5 years ago, and it's just a wonderful space. I can keep everything set up and make a mess and not have to worry about it. And this is showing my paints laid out. The walls are lined with unfinished paintings, many of them demonstration paintings from classes that I've taught that need to be finished. So they're sitting up in front of me, inspiring me to finish them. This is a painting that was unfinished from a class I just finished teaching through Howard County Recreation and Parks. I teach a lot of classes through them, and this is showing my technique. You can see the images sketched in on my board. I work on board on panel as opposed to canvas. I like that because it's smoother. I can create my own fine texture as opposed to canvas, which enables me to do the amount of detail that I do. It's a lot easier with a smoother surface. And I paint left-handed. I find that a lot easier to paint left-handed. But the flowers, I'm working on those now, and you can see I'm working wet and wet. And that's another approach that I frequently use when I want a less detailed painting like this one is. This is a little looser than a lot of my work. But it depends on what I'm painting, determines what medium I work in and how refined the painting becomes. Here I'm applying light into it and again working wet and wet.
That's a beautiful painting.
Thank you. This is the reference material for that. So you can see my interpretation from that. And the class did a beautiful job.
Wow.
These are watercolors and oils, again, unfinished, soon to be finished, a variety of paintings. Here I'm doing a little short demonstration of a waterfall scene in acrylic and using a flat brush, applying the paint. I use my fingers a lot with acrylic just to smear paint around. And acrylic's a very challenging medium because it dries so quickly. So you have to work very fast and to manipulate the paint. And this was a very, very fun scene to paint.
I'll tell you, having been in your home, that's where you let me go to pick out art for the gallery.
Right.
I cannot tell the difference in some of your acrylics and your oils. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. That's intentional. I try very hard to make my acrylic paintings look like my oils. And that's challenging because it dries instantly. So trying to manipulate the medium like you would with an oil is very challenging.
You are really good. Well, Rob says the viewers have some things to say to you. Okay. Rob?
So Robin Gavigan joined a little bit ago. Hey, Robin. So Stephanie Boyer says, such beautiful work.
Robin.
And so Charlene says, don't forget to tell people that you teach at Gary Arthur Center at Glenwood.
Oh, okay. I do. I teach a lot of classes in Glenwood at the Gary Arthur Center through Howard County Recreation Parks. I've taught probably 120 classes for them over the last 10 plus years. And then I teach 3 classes at my home studio year round. So I do a lot of teaching. I teach workshops for art societies all over the place and clubs.
Well, and we'll show them that space in the next video. So the last comment was Charlene. I think she was referring to the oil painting that you started with, but she said I saw that one being taught.
Oh, yes. Charlie's been in several of my classes. She's a wonderful student and a wonderful artist.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, I have a couple questions for you. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said you painted left-handed. Are you left-handed?
I am left-handed. That was just a joke.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right, let's go and see your classes.
Okay. Because
your students come into the gallery and they just say you're such a wonderful teacher and such a kind-hearted, encouraging teacher, and that's
Thank you. They're wonderful. I love my students. They make classes so much fun. They're all so supportive of each other. I teach students from very beginners on up, and they're just such a joy to teach. So I think we're about
Well,
to see
here we go.
This is my teaching studio. Nothing fancy. I have tables all set up. So I teach oil, watercolor, and acrylic here. I also do my framing in this room. So you can see the frame samples at the back of the room. And there are samples, again, more paintings everywhere, samples on the wall of paintings, demonstration paintings, a lot of which need to be finished. And there is, this is a mixture of paints to demonstrate how to mix colors for portrait work in oil. Frame samples, I do a lot of, well, I do all my own framing, and then I help my students with their framing. This is the little kitchen that's a part of my studio where we do all our cleaning up. And these I've used for, I used to teach classes for many years to children, and they come in handy for drawing classes. So, and that's just a
What is that?
funny little sculpture I did years ago as a demonstration. I thought that would be fun to put in there. This is a painting of Ellicott City that needs to be finished. This will be a nice watercolor, and that's one I'll finish this summer and hopefully bring down to the gallery.
So
I look forward to it. I'll tell you, you have a beautiful space that you work in.
I do. It's very inspirational. It's filled with light. Looking out the window, I see all this nature, and it's great. Great space.
So having seen your husband's painting, I saw him do a painting. How would you assess your husband's painting skills?
He actually does quite well.
Oh, you are way too generous. He is a fabulous sculptor, but a tragic painter.
It's a Bob Ross painting.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He's a better
Do you have some questions for Brenda?
Okay.
So Stephanie Boyer says, you are so prolific. How many hours a day do you work?
Not as many as you would think. There are periods of time where I cram and do a lot of painting. So, but with my teaching schedule and show schedule, it's challenging to do all of that. Running an art business is not as easy as you might think. So I chuckle when people say, oh, it must be nice to just sit home and paint all day, because it's really not like that at all. But I do paint a lot, but not as much as I would like to. So.
And don't you paint during the night sometimes?
Yes, especially if I'm coming up to a deadline, then I'll be painting nonstop for days and nights at a time.
There you go. Rob, anything else for us before we go and look at some of Brenda's art?
So Beverly Hunter followed up, and she said she liked Stephanie's question, but then she said, more studio envy. So beautiful, organized, and inspiring. Jealous.
Oh, thank you. It's probably because it's new. It's not filled with junk yet.
That's funny. And did Ed build that for you, Brenda?
He did.
Okay, so we'll add good sculptor and good builder.
Yes, he is. He built his own studio, huge studio, and built the ponds that are outside, and he's a handy guy.
That's awesome. All right, let's look at some of your art.
Okay, terrific. This is Cape Marsh, a scene from Cape Cod, oil painting, about 2 by 3 feet. Beautiful place. And this is a scene from Maine. I am on Vinyl Haven, an island off of the coast, and looking at Fiddlehead Island. Just a spectacular place. I do a lot of portrait work. This is a portrait in watercolor of my niece.
It's lovely.
Thank you. You see my daughters show up in a lot of my paintings. They're wonderful models, and this is one of my daughters in watercolor painting. And this was a very unusual class that I taught. This uses alcohol and salt and all kinds of unusual techniques. A lot of fun, very expressive, and that's what I love about the medium. There's just so much you can do with it, and it's just a lot of fun to paint in watercolor. So if you've ever wanted to take a class, you should definitely give it a try. I do a lot of multi-figure portraits, and this is one in oil. Another one called Laura and Levi, the cat.
Aw. Yay!
This is from my new steampunk series, which ties in with Ed's work very well. This is Captain Cornelius. So Ed wrote this wonderful story. I have to post it online, that ties his steampunk metal sculpture in with my steampunk paintings. So these were a little off the wall. I like doing humorous subject matter from time to time, and my chick series is ongoing and just a lot of fun to paint. So every now and then after doing serious work, I like to just do something kind of goofy like this.
Oh, he's adorable. He's in the gallery.
Yes, he is. And this is called The Arrival. She's wearing one of Ed's rocket packs, and up in the sky is one of Ed's airships. So these were pretty major paintings, this one especially. There's a lot going on in this. It's got wildlife, it's still life, it's figurative. The light was challenging. She modeled for me for many hours to pull all these, this series of paintings together. I did a lot of research, went to one of the paintings, I went to the train museum to get steam locomotive imagery, and so it was a really challenging, fun series to work on, and hopefully it's one I'll continue. And you see some of Ed's work in this, and also in these paintings you'll see the work of Daniel Stewart, who's a wonderful blacksmith.
Wow.
This is Sophia Octavia, my cat, all punked out.
Wait, she is your cat?
Yes.
Oh, now this is in the gallery. I love this painting.
It's really fun. And no, she didn't, I put those on her. I did not make her wear these.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. This is a still life of Magnolia. You're only seeing a portion of it here, but so I do a lot of still life as well. And this is, you're seeing more of the Tranquility painting of from my backyard. Chickens, I love painting chickens in addition to the chicks. This was a nice major painting, just a joy to paint. Complicated, the composition took many, many hours, getting the light right and sizing chickens and putting them in the right position. You can see the chicken wire in the background. There's a lot going on in this.
So Brenda, I saw this in your kitchen above your sliding glass door, and yeah, it's a big painting, isn't it?
It is. It's probably about 3 feet wide.
I love that painting.
Thank you. It's
really pretty.
It's for sale. Everything.
We're shameless, just shameless.
That's how I make my living. And this is one called The Groundskeeper, chipmunk, and he's just checking out everything.
It's adorable.
The light's really nice in this one. And we're back to Sugar again.
You want to pet her?
Yes, she's very soft.
Yeah.
Very beautiful calf. Still life in watercolor, my dahlias from the backyard. Cut glass.
They're lovely.
And here we are.
So Brenda, you say people come and take your classes, and suppose it's their first time. What do you say to a student who's getting discouraged?
Um, just to relax. I've been painting a long time, so a lot of times when I'm demonstrating, I make something look easy. So it just takes a while, especially with watercolor, to get the hang of it and to be brave. And there's a fine line between with watercolor, you want to just dive in and not really care about what happens. That's how you learn the fastest. And so you just kind of want to dive into it and try things out and not be afraid. And that's kind of a big hump to get over.
That's wonderful, because people come into the gallery and they're like, oh, I tried it once and I can't do it. And what I hear you saying is you just keep trying.
You do. You spend a lot of time with it. If it's something you enjoy, you'll just continue to work with it. And it does take a while. I've been working in watercolor for 40 years, so got a lot of time behind me.
Wait, you're not supposed to say that. Don't say that out loud. People are going to know how old you are.
You can cut that out, Red.
Well, I'm 55 and I'm very proud of that.
But
so, Brenda, here's a question for you. What do you find the most challenging in your art?
I think the most challenging part is the composition and getting all the information together. A lot of my paintings are complicated. They require a lot of preliminary work with composing it. And for instance, even some of the paintings that seem rather simple when you look at them, it might be a bluebird in the dogwood. You have to, I will frequently, for instance, if I'm taking reference photos, take a photo of my hand in front of the leaves, so that later on, if I'm not familiar with the plant, I know what size the size relationship to make things, so that I know what size the bird is into the reference material that I'm working in, what size the branches or the leaves or whatever. And then you have to make sure that the light matches. And so the light source has to be made the same so everything makes sense. So as a realist, you're more accountable for being accurate in all those things. So I take a great deal of time to be as accurate as I possibly can. So I do a lot of research.
Wow, that I can understand that. And that does sound challenging. It does. I'm impressed with your photograph your hand technique.
Right. Or you hold up a ruler to a leaf or whatever. Sometimes I go out in the winter and I start digging around for leaves just to make sure I have things correct.
Nice. Well, Rob has some questions from our viewers. Rob?
So Carlos, you're late. Carlos Cepeda is in the house. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. And everyone else.
Hey, Carlos.
I was just calling him out. So April Rimpo made a comment. Where is it? She said, paint tubes sitting on lace tells me you aren't too messy.
Oh, that's actually plastic lace. It's a plastic tablecloth.
Stephanie really likes the magnolia picture that we showed earlier. And
a wonderful still life painter, beautiful paintings in the gallery.
Both April and Stephanie are very talented painters.
Everyone in the gallery is very talented.
So Robin Gavigan says, patience and bravery, good lessons. And
nice. Robin.
Let's see, Lucy Pacia. Hi, Lucy. Congratulations to great artist, Miss Brenda.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then Wendy Duke asks, do you like to be around other artists, or are you more solitary?
I love being around other artists. He teaches me a lot of that. But also I do plein air paintings with the Landscape Society, plein air painting with the Landscape Society, and also other friends. We go out and in classes and workshops that I take, I just love being around other artists and bouncing off ideas and seeing their work and getting feedback about my own. It is a very solitary profession, and it's I always welcome other people to look at my work and help out. You know, it's really, really tough sometimes to look at your own work objectively. So it's a good thing. Always learning from other people.
So one question that just came
There
in
you
from
go.
Stephanie, she wanted to know, do you prefer working from photographs?
I prefer working from life when I can, actually, but I observe so much outside just through photography that helps when I'm in the studio, but being out there working from life is the best way to learn. So I really love painting outdoors. But the wildlife that I paint doesn't stand still for the number of hours that I'm painting it. So I do have to rely on reference material for a lot of what I do.
You mean that chipmunk won't just pose for you?
No, he won't. I'm lucky if I can get good photos of him.
Well, Brenda, you've been quite successful in the gallery.
Yes, I've been
There
thrilled.
he is.
I'm really thrilled with that. Really appreciate being in the gallery.
Well, yeah, you have sold numerous paintings: triple latte, 3 cows, a bunch of birds, a bunny.
A bunny. No, I'm really,
There you
really
go.
happy with people by my work. It makes me feel good, and to know that they appreciate it.
Okay, so I just have to tell this one story. One of the best things that happened recently. This woman, Elizabeth, came in and she loves your work, and she saw a cow, and it was the anniversary of her mother's passing away, and her mother loved cows and she loved cows, and so she bought your painting, and it just meant the world to her.
That's really wonderful. That's a great story. Thank you.
Yeah, those are the best kind of stories, when you know you touch somebody. Well, Brenda, what else would you like people to know?
I think that everyone listening should come visit the gallery. It's a beautiful, wonderful place. There is something for everyone, of every taste, in every price range, whether you're looking for a gift or something for yourself or for your home. It's a very welcoming place too. I've been in galleries where you feel a little intimidated even walking through the doors. Horse Spirit is not like that at all. It's just a really wonderful, welcoming place. Robin, Max, everyone else that works there, they're just great and helpful. And the amount of talent that's in the gallery is really terrific. I can't express that enough.
Aww.
I'm thrilled to be in the Horse Spirit family.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you, and Ed, even though I tease him a lot.
Yes.
Well, Brenda, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Robin. And thank you all for tuning in.
So we're going to say goodbye to Brenda at this moment, and now we're going to go to the part of our show where we honor a business in Ellicott City. So I'd like to tell you about Gretchen Shuey. Gretchen owns Bean Hollow, and during the 30 July 2016 flood, her store was completely destroyed. Water came in through the side of the store and knocked down the walls. Water came in the front of the store through the doors, and it came up under the river, which is underneath her. She lost everything. But you know what? She stood back up and she rebuilt. One time Gretchen told me that she had run 100 miles, and you know, I can absolutely see that in her. She has rebuilt that store. It is open again. And if I could describe her soul, I would say she is as strong as a mountain, and she is as caring to her 2 young children, her husband, and her friends as a mother bear is to her cubs. I respect her enormously, and later on tonight, we're going to have a video that advertises Gretchen. But for now, Rob is going to show you a couple of pictures of Gretchen actually roasting her coffee. So Rob, over to you.
All right, yeah. So I'm working on the video, but what I did is I basically just put together a quick snippet of Gretchen roasting her coffee earlier this morning. But I also wanted to make sure you guys know about Friday, Strings Attached. This Saturday is the gallery hop, and you can talk about that in a second. And then Dirty Secret is playing this weekend on the Courtyard, and the Chili Cook-Off is on Sunday. So that probably, you guys are like, wait, what was that?
Yeah,
So-
I guess the point is we have a lot going on in Ellicott City this weekend.
So we do have a lot going on in Ellicott City this weekend, and I had, like, going back to Gretchen, I had an amazing time with her this morning. I met her this morning at 5:15 in the morning, and got to watch her roasting the coffee. So the reason I didn't have it done is because I'm kind of putting a little bit of extra something, I guess, into her video, because it was just so cool to be able to see it from beginning to end. So give us another hour for me to finish Gretchen's video. I think you guys are going to love it. But hey,
Please watch it.
Yeah.
It's great coffee, great food, and Main Street rejoiced when she reopens.
that's right.
So I do want to tell you about Gallery Hop. So Saturday night from 5 to 9 p.m., the galleries on Main Street, and as well as the stores that sell original art, are going to be open and have festive beverages for you and non-nutritional food groups. So there's 11 of us participating. We'll all be open, and I hope you'll be able to stop by and say hello. And some of the artists will come, so you'll get to meet them too. So let me tell you what's going to happen next Thursday. Next Thursday night is the 15th of June, and I'm going to have Mary Jo Keeney, and we just call her MJ. She is a ballpoint pen and gel pen artist, a very good drawer. She's also a painter, and she does use some colored pencil. She is something I would call a Zentangle master. She has a piece that's probably 3 feet by 2.5 feet, and it is all an intricate drawing, sort of like Escher would do. I mean, she's a master at it. So please join us next week, and you'll see her work, and you'll see her process, and you'll meet her. And Rob wants to say one more thing.
I want to say, Gretchen just hopped into the room, so I want to make sure that we give a shout out to Gretchen since she's watching live.
Hey, Gretchen.
That's
Think
it.
the world of you, sweetie. All right. Well, thank you for being with us, and we will see you next week. Take care.